The central battle holomap inside the grand citadel of the apex hegemony did not just flicker. It turned a terrifying, blinding crimson as 10,000 starship signatures began winking out of existence in rapid, terrifying clusters. Above the central marble dais, high-frequency alarm klaxons blared through the grand hall, sending a wave of ice-cold panic through 50 regional admirals. Critical fleet loss in progress. Sector 12 Sol System. Primary invasion force sinking. High Fleet Sovereign Valen, an 11-foot-tall, 6-armed Gorgon warlord whose obsidian bioarmor had never known defeat, stood frozen at the edge of the dais. His 4 yellow eyes dilated into tiny, frantic specks as he slammed all 6 claws onto the master console. Silence those defective sensors. Valen's synthesized voice roared, vibrating the heavy iron beams in the ceiling. 10,000 heavy dreadnoughts, the grandest armada ever assembled in galactic history. The human homeworld has no planetary shields, no orbital beam cannons, and no standing Imperial fleet. Report the true numbers immediately. At the lower terminal, Chief Intelligence Officer Vraxis raised his shaking hands, his multi-jointed chitin plates rattling together like dry leaves. Sovereign. The sensors are not defective, Vraxis whimpered, his voice cracking with pure, unadulterated terror. Our armada cleared the outer Sol system 30 minutes ago. They encountered zero resistance near the gas giants. But the moment they crossed the orbital threshold of Earth's moon, what happened? Valen demanded, leaning his massive, horned head over the screen. Did they fire a hidden superweapon? Did they detonate their own moon? No, Sovereign, Vraxis whispered, projecting a live, high-resolution optical feed onto the central holomap. They didn't use a superweapon. They simply turned off their cloaking grids. The entire war chamber fell dead silent. The optical recording played in horrific, overwhelming detail. The 10,000 proud, golden dreadnoughts of the hegemony had sailed into Earth's orbit expecting a soft-skinned, unarmored species cowering in glass cities. They had prepared demanding speeches, surrender treaties, and planetary taxation contracts. Instead, the moment the hegemony fleet entered low Earth orbit, the dark void around the planet literally began to shift. Humanity hadn't built a standing fleet of shiny, silver warships because they didn't believe in deep space naval doctrine. Instead, for 2 centuries, they had turned their entire solar system into an invisible, steel-plated slaughterhouse. Over 400,000 armed defense platforms, heavy kinetic mass driver satellites, concealed torpedo barges, and retrofitted asteroid fortresses, disguised for decades as routine space debris, industrial mining stations, and communications relays, all powered on their fusion reactors at the exact same millisecond. The dark space surrounding the 10,000 alien ships instantly transformed into a solid wall of blinding, white-hot tungsten and plasma. By the ancestors! An avian admiral gasped, dropping his command baton onto the marble floor. They didn't build a defensive line. They built a trap. On the holomap, the slaughter was mathematical. Humanity didn't open comms. They didn't demand a surrender. They didn't offer terms. Massive 300-meter railgun slugs, fired at 5% the speed of light, punched through 3 feet of hegemony energy shields and bioarmor like wet paper. Hidden missile silos buried deep inside lunar craters launched salvo after salvo of nuclear-tipped kinetic warheads, saturation bombing the alien formation before the invasion commanders could even align their primary cannons. Order a tactical retreat, Valen screamed, his 6 claws frantically punching emergency codes into his console. All squads, collapse formation and jump to hyperspace immediately. They can't jump, Sovereign, Vraxis shrieked, tears leaking from his optical stalks. The humans deployed gravity well generators across the entire orbital plane. The local space-time fabric is completely locked. Our ships are trapped in the kill zone. A cold, suffocating silence suffocated the Grand Hall as screen after screen turned black. 10,000 ships reduced to 5,000 in 6 minutes. 5,000 reduced to 1,000 in 12 minutes. 1,000 reduced to less than 50 as human boarding craft, brutal, iron-sheathed pods launched at high speed, punched directly through the hulls of the surviving flagship cruisers, venting alien crews into the cold vacuum of space. Suddenly, the primary battle holomap flickered, clearing the chaotic red static. A single live video feed overrode the Citadel's master communications grid, originating from a heavy human command bunker buried deep beneath the surface of Earth's North American continent. On the screen stood a woman. She was 60 years old, wearing a dark gray, oil-stained fleet general uniform with simple brass pins. She had short, silver hair, sharp green eyes, and was calmly wrapping a fresh roll of white grip tape around her right forearm. She didn't look like a galactic sovereign. She had no golden armor, no synthetic voice enhancers, and no grand speech written on a scroll. She looked up at the camera, her expression as cold and flat as a steel deck plate. "This is General Sarah Vance of the Terran Planetary Defense Command," she said softly. Her voice didn't boom, but it carried a flat, terrifying stillness that chilled the blood of every warlord in the room. To the command structure of the Apex hegemony. Valen stepped up to the terminal, his 4 eyes wide with furious, desperate terror. "Human!" Valen roared into the comms, trying to mask his trembling voice. "You have committed an unspeakable atrocity against the hegemony. You have destroyed our grandest fleet without warning. Withdraw your orbital fire immediately, or the full force of our empire will." "You brought 10,000 warships to our home," Vance interrupted, her voice dropping an octave lower. "You didn't come to talk. You came to put collars on our children." Vance set her tape down on the console, leaning her heavy forearms toward the screen. "For 300 years, she continued, the species of this galaxy looked at Earth and saw a quiet, unarmored world. You thought because we didn't build shiny battlecruisers to parade through the stars, we were weak. You forgot why our ancestors survived a Class 12 death world." She tapped a button on her desk. The holomap shifted to show the remaining space around Earth. Out of the 10,000 invader ships that had entered the system 30 minutes ago, only 9 battered, burning heavy cruisers remained floating in the dark, their shields dead, their engines crippled, surrounded by thousands of automated human railgun platforms tracking their every move. "We don't build parade fleets, Sovereign," Vance whispered, looking straight into Valen's trembling eyes. "We build extermination grids for predators who forget where the boundary line is." Valen's mandibles twitched in pure, absolute horror. 9 ships? You left only 9 ships alive? 9 ships, Vance confirmed flatly. "I am turning off the gravity well generators for those 9 vessels right now. You have 3 minutes to execute a hyperspace jump back to your capital." Valen blinked, stunned by the sudden mercy. You are letting them escape?" "I'm not letting them escape," Vance replied coldly, picking up her coat from the back of her chair. "I'm sending them back to deliver a message. When those 9 ships land in your home harbor, I want every warlord, every admiral, and every politician in your empire to walk down to the docks and look at the scorched steel." She stepped closer to the camera, her cold green eyes locking onto the entire war chamber. "Tell your sovereign that if he ever sends another fleet toward Sol," Vance whispered, "we won't stop at defending our orbit. We'll follow the smoke back to your front door." The video feed snapped off. Down in the Sol system, the 9 surviving, burning hegemony cruisers frantically engaged their emergency warp drives, fleeing the human homeworld like terrified animals escaping a steel trap. In the high citadel of the Apex hegemony, a dead, suffocating silence fell over the 50 regional admirals. High Fleet Sovereign Valen slowly collapsed back into his command chair, his 6 arms hanging limp at his sides, his 4 ocular sensors staring blankly at the dark holomap. Slowly, methodically, Valen reached out with a trembling claw, opened the hegemony's master galaxy tactical map, and drew a thick, bright red quarantine line around the entire Sol system. Underneath the entry, he typed a single, permanent directive that would remain locked in the galactic archives for the next 10,000 years. "Do not invade. Do not approach. Leave the Deathworlders to their silence."